Mark.
Hello.
Mark, it's Anthony. It's Anthony, Mark.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, hello, Anthony.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Anthony.
Listen, mate, what are you doing right now, Mark?
Well, you've just phoned me. I'm talking to you right now.
Okay, can you come into the office?
What office?
I've just rented an office. So can you come to the office?
Okay. What's this about?
Well, I don't really have time to talk, Mark. That's why I'm telling you, come to our office and let's talk in our office.
What do you mean, our office? I don't know what that is.
We've got an office, Mark. Come to our office. That's what I'm saying to you. Come to our office. We've got an office now.
Okay, how do I get to our office?
Ciao, Mark. Ciao, see you at our office.
No, I need.
Right. Office chairs.
Doors closing. Lift going down.
Right, thanks
Brilliant.
for coming, Mark.
No worries.
You're probably wondering why we are here.
Yes.
I've received an email yesterday morning, and, well, it's quite interesting, and I think you'd probably be interested in it
Yeah.
as much as I am. I have accidentally been given $1 billion from the state of Qatar to build a football-themed theme park in Qatar in time for the World Cup in 2022.
Okay. I don't want to puncture your bubble, mate, but is that not a scam?
No, it's not a scam. I've looked at my bank balance this morning. There's $1 billion in my bank, so it's not a scam. The money is there, and I've spent already £900 on it on a laptop. So
That is a nice laptop.
And I've bought you a gift. I've bought you a lovely pen.
Ooh.
I don't really want to give the money back, and we can't just give back $1 billion minus £900 plus £35.
It's got a really nice writing action, this pen. It flows, it's nicely weighted, and it's a very smooth writing action. I'm loving this pen.
Well, exactly. So what would you rather do? Build a theme park with $1 billion minus £935, or go to prison?
Which of those scenarios do I get to keep the pen?
You can keep the pen in both instances.
Okay, probably favouring building the fairground.
Okay, so we're agreed. We're building a theme park. It's not a fairground, it's a theme park, Mark. It's a theme park, a football theme park. The reason I've brought you on board is because my experience of building theme parks is pretty thin, and I was hoping you might have a bit of expertise to help bump us up in the old experience rankings.
No, mate. I haven't been to one of these theme parks since 1996 when my parents took me to Legoland, which was a bit weird because I was 24 at the time. But no, mate, I don't know a thing about these kind of places.
Right, that's quite disappointing, but I've already bought you this pen.
Sorry.
You're pretty good with your hands, pretty good with woodwork, pretty good building things, and that's why I've kind of assigned you the role of chief ride engineer. So Mark Davison, chief ride engineer of this new football-themed theme park.
Okay.
So just to be upfront and transparent, I'm the CEO of the park because I've got a laptop, you see. First on the agenda, a name. Luckily, I've already saved us a lot of hassle. I've thought of a name. I've actually written it. You can see it's on the top of the screen. The name of the theme park is Footballland.
Yeah, great. 2 words. Footballland, the land of football.
It's not going to be 2 words. It's all one word. Footballland.
No, that's 2 words. It's Footballland. It's 2 words, definitely.
Let's not be square about this. It's a cool theme park. Think of the sign. Think of the branding. It needs 1 word. Disneyland's 1 word, isn't it? Footballland.
All right. Let's go with it as 1 word. How many L's are you putting in the middle of that? That's chaos.
Well, just how it's spelt. Football. You know football.
I'm aware of how to spell football.
And land. L-A-N-D. Footballland.
So you're going 3 L's in the middle?
3 L's in the middle. Just normal. Just normal how you spell Footballland.
Yeah, that looks like a Welsh word to me. That looks like you'd see that and pronounce it Footballland. Why don't we just lose an L? Why don't we just have it all 1 word with 2 L's?
Because then it would be football and. Football and what? Football and rugby? It's a football theme park called Footballland for the World Cup. Would it help you if I put a tiny, imperceptible size 1 font space in between football and land, a very tiny gap in between?
Why do we have to have an imperceptible? Why can't it be a perceptible gap?
Right, shall we vote on that? All in favour of Footballland with no gap in between, but a very imperceptible gap. Say aye. 3, 2, 1. I? Sorry, I didn't hear you there.
Well, that's because I didn't say anything.
Right. So you're abstaining, are you?
No, I'm objecting.
Well, if you want to object, I'd guess you say nay.
Well, that wasn't established.
Well, I'm afraid you've abstained. It's called Footballland. I thought we'd plan the park before we actually built anything, but that doesn't mean you're not doing any work for a year. You might be chief ride engineer, but I'd like you to have quite a hands-on approach in designing these rides as well.
Yep.
Have you got any ideas for a ride?
Well, bearing in mind 3 minutes ago I had no idea why you called me in, and bearing in mind I haven't been anywhere near a theme park for nearly a quarter of a century.
Yeah.
Yes, I do have an idea for a football-themed ride.
Let's hear your idea.
The greatest event in my lifetime, and in a football sense, was Leicester City winning the Premier League despite being 5,000 to 1 outsiders. So I'm thinking if Disneyland, 2 words, is all about giving people a magical experience, we want Footballland, definitely 2 words, to give people a similarly magical experience. I'm proposing the Leicester City Fairytale experience. It's about reliving that magical fairy tale that was their 2015-2016 title win, and it's on a quaint kind of toy town train, but don't be fooled. It's not some sedate, subdued ride. It's packed full of references to that title-winning season, and it's a roller coaster. It will throw you around, it will exhilarate you, it will excite you. Ultimately, it will really depress you, but I'll come back to that. It's on a train driven, for starters, by a lookalike of Claudio Ranieri. He has in his engine a dilly-ding, dilly-dong bell, which he rings at every opportunity, and everyone loves it when that happens. So the ride meanders along 81 miles of track to represent their 81 points total.
81 miles?
Hold your horses, it's Toy Town miles. I mean, I don't know what that is, but it could be 81 metres of track. I don't know. But something to reflect 81 points that they got when they won the season, okay? Plus, it's Toy Town miles, which reflects the fact that none of the other teams took that season seriously and no one mentions it anymore.
Can I just ask you one question quickly? The lookalike of Claudio Ranieri, are we hiring a lookalike to work on the ride, or is he just going to have a Claudio Ranieri mask?
Well, I think the first port of call should be to see what Claudio Ranieri's up to. If he's in need of a bit of employment, then we go quids in and get the real deal. So at the start of this ride, you've got to buy your ticket, but it's not just a question of buying a ticket and getting on. You've got obstacles to overcome, yeah?
Right.
So if you remember, Nigel Pearson was in charge just before this season. So I'm imagining people who want to get on the ride, they've got to kill a comical troll, because it's got to be comic violence. We don't want actual violence in the park. A comical troll representing Nigel Pearson. So you've got to headbutt the comic troll representing Nigel Pearson. You've got to banish the elves who took part in that Thai orgy in a pre-season tour. You've got to turn a deaf ear to a bit of casual racism in a casino instigated by a garden gnome, and only when you've overcome these obstacles can you get on the actual ride, okay? So once on the ride, you begin tiny to reflect that they were massive underdogs at this stage, yeah? So like Alice in Wonderland, everything's massive, you seem tiny. But the train driver, okay, Claudio Ranieri, is so smiley that you're not that worried about this. The journey starts, he's ringing his bell, he keeps mumbling something about pizza. You don't even want pizza, but he insists you have none until you realise that you really want pizza. And then I'm thinking halfway through the ride, he gives you pizza. You do have to make it yourself, but you get the pizza. Because for me, that was one of the most important moments of that season. I want to reflect it somehow. And it's a kind of on-ride dining experience. As the ride goes on, and you grow in stature as the points tally mounts, your surroundings get smaller and smaller. And what once seemed large and scary isn't scary at all, yeah?
Right.
And maybe we hand round, we get all the customers to neck a pint of Skittles vodka to symbolise this change. And if it's children, then it's half measures or something like that. So what once were giants in the shape of Spurs and Chelsea, they're now your size. In fact, they might even be smaller than you because you watch them fight each other to a bloody mess, and that's all a bit of a pathetic, sad spectacle. So now you're the size of gods. After this pathetic fight kind of fizzles out, your coronation, I think, it really put Leicester on the map when they won it. People all around the world were suddenly cheering for Leicester. And previously, who knew anything about Leicester? The only thing that put them on the map was that's where they found...
Richard III.
Exactly.
Richard III. His bones were buried, weren't they, in a car park?
In their car park, yeah. And that's all that people knew about Leicester. Whereas this put Leicester on the map far more than that. So I think what we do is we have the train just smash through the remains of Richard III.
Right.
With $1 billion at our disposal, we can afford to do that, can't we?
Yeah, well, we could get some replica bones and stick them over.
No, it's got to be the actual remains of Richard III just smashed to oblivion by this Claudio Ranieri
So we
train.
exhume Richard III's remains, we take him over to Qatar, and we just keep driving over them again and again. And do we have people rebuild them, or do they sort of get connected back together for the next ride?
We need to invest in some scientific research that would restore those bones each time. I'm not envisaging that being cheap, but I think you'll agree it's worth the money for an effect that strong. And then it's party time. You get served canapes by Gary Lineker dancing around wearing just his pants. There's a gnome and a lookalike gnome dancing around all over the remains of Richard III.
Yeah.
So the ride gradually comes to a halt, by which point you realise you've become covered in snakes. Yeah. So then, as a group, your task is to execute the train driver.
Right. So hang on, you become covered in snakes, so snakes drop down from a trapdoor above you.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and I think it's important that we replicate how Ranieri was undone by snakes barely months after this triumph. So I want to reenact his brutal undoing. And then, I mean, if you all, as snakes or covered in snakes, you basically execute the train driver, I think that's probably the moment that gets captured for posterity on cameras throughout the train, and then you can buy a keyring of yourself killing Ranieri on the way out.
All right, then, let's go to a vote. All in favour of Leicester City Fairytale ride, say aye. 3, 2...
Aye. Sorry.
3,
Aye.
2... Oh.
Do we have to say it at the same time?
I'd quite like it. It's good for the climax, isn't it?
I agree, yep.
3, 2, 1,
aye.
Good. Congratulations, you must be really pleased.
I am, yeah, cheers.
Okay, so my ride idea is a bit more conventional. It already exists as a mechanism in theme parks and fairgrounds, and I thought we'd just change the name, really, and the theme of it to suit football. So the idea is the tunnel of Wagner Love.
Mate, that is great.
Wagner Love, of course, he played for CSKA Moscow, and he plays for Corinthians now, and of course for Brazil. And if he doesn't agree to be part of it, we've got Donald Love, who played for Sunderland, and now he plays for Shrewsbury Town, and he's also international because he played for Scotland.
Yeah.
So we've got the tunnel of Wagner/Donald Love, and quite simply, couples on a romantic journey in the park, they go through Wagner Love's tunnel.
Great. An early question, and apologies if you hadn't considered this. I think I'm not alone in considering these things. Which tunnel are you entering?
What do you mean?
Well, as you're saying, couples go in through the tunnel of Wagner Love. I'm just assuming you're going in through his batty hole.
No, it wouldn't be going through Donald or Wagner Love's bumhole as such, because if anything, mate, that's the tunnel of lust, isn't it? If you had to go through the anatomy of a man that's love, I would say it's the urethra, where the hole you ejaculate through. So
you go in through the penis?
No,
or
well, if you were to replicate the loving tunnel ride inside a man, which is not what I considered when I was first pitching this ride, well, you'd start in the testes, wouldn't you? You'd actually come out through the penis, wouldn't you? If you were...
How do you get in the testes, though?
Well, you'd start off in the queue, and I guess you'd begin outside, and then you go in through two giant testicles in the park. I don't know, like I'm imagining giant fiberglass testicles with lots of hair, and a picture of Donald Love or Wagner Love on the side, you know, with their Twitter names, Instagram, sponsored by Nike or Adidas or whoever Shrewsbury Town is sponsored by now. It could even be Kellogg's. So you'd go in through a door in the testes, and then if it were to be an ejaculatory ride, I'm imagining a log flume. So you'd dress up in white sort of crash helmet and a fire retardant suit.
Yeah.
You'd swim around the testes as a sperm while hearing grunts or, loving sounds outside, muffled outside of the testes. And then when your number was called or when you could hear, coming to a climax outside, that's when, if you're imagining in this giant cavern, it's filled with water and you and 100, 300 other fellow ride goers, the trapdoor suddenly drops and then you go whooshing through a tunnel and then up out of a tunnel at speed, ejaculated out of a giant penis, fiberglass of course, through the air with a crash helmet on so you're okay, onto a giant mattress.
Which is in the shape of Mrs. Love. And I'm thinking we introduce a competitive element. Obviously, we need to have an eye on health and safety, but how about if we get as many people in the testes as we possibly safely can, but it's really crowded in there, and you have to win the right to be fired out through Donald/Wagner's urethra. So only one person can get that full experience of winning that race. And that way, I think we can market it as an educational tool. It's sex education for children as much as anything, even though they're going to be inside a pair of fiberglass testes with a load of blokes literally fighting for the right to get fired out through a penis.
It just shows, doesn't it, how on the outside you're hearing loving, muffled, horny sounds, but the inside, it's literally the game of life. It's nature red in tooth and claw. It is horrible in there. It's a ride that you think, oh, tunnel of love, what a lovely thing. No. In the game of life, of course, if you're fired out first, you win. But in this case, you're fired out first, perhaps you win a prize. Perhaps you win, a signed photo of Alan Shearer.
I don't think we need an extra incentive, but you've just given it one. That is going to make people fight to the death inside those testes. What happens to, let's say we've got 300 people in this ride and only one wins. What happens to the 299? How do we flush them out of the testes in order to restock the ball sacks?
Imagine the tunnel has got a kind of a trapdoor, right?
Yeah.
So the trapdoor opens and then the trapdoor, there's a sensor which tells when it's only got space for one person. So the trapdoor opens and then the person goes through and it closes straight away again.
Yeah.
That is enough time for all of the, I don't know what the correct term of it is, but let's call it semen fluid. All of the semen fluid can go through, rushing through the tunnel with the winning rider. So after that, you're just in a drained pair of testicles, aren't you? The only way out is through another door on the side of testicle number 2. You go out, and sorry, but you didn't get to experience the tunnel of love. You're only in the testes of lust.
What if the unsuccessful seminal fluid gets flushed out the bumhole? We've got to get them out somehow. We may as well continue the anatomical theme and just have them flushed out through the bum.
I hadn't really thought past a giant pair of fiberglass balls, but if you want to add a buttocks in there and an anus for them to exit and through a gift shop, then that is absolutely fine with me. There's something I quite like about the walk of shame out through the other testicle, but I appreciate you're a showman at heart. You want to see people exiting a bum, and I'm fine with that.
Should we get Wagner Love, the German manager, on board with this as well?
It's going to put us in a really competitive situation for naming rights if we have 3 big football personalities all fighting to have their names emblazoned across the fiberglass balls and the exit through the gift shop bumhole.
They're going to jump at this, surely.
Now, originally I wanted this to be a couples ride. It's going to be quite a horrible experience being the other half of the couple. One of them got fired out of the penis. That's going to cause some friction in the relationship after the ride. Why did you get chosen, not me? Why did you have to punch me in the face to get through that hole? It's dog eat dog in that world. Are we going to spoil some relationships?
No, maybe the mattress is right in the middle of the best restaurant in the park. If they don't win this race, it's going to take them a good 45 minutes to walk to that restaurant. Whereas if they win inside these testes, they can get straight to the restaurant. They're going to think, well, the downside is it might be the end of my marriage. On the plus side, I get fired into the best restaurant straight away.
Yeah, that's right. And maybe you win not only a picture of Alan Shearer, but you win half a margarita pizza and a bottle of Peroni at that restaurant. Might as well buy the whole pizza, mightn't you? And 2 Peronis, and then you can get your other half there if they manage to walk the 45 minutes around to get to you. So that's perfect as a date night straight after the experience. I like your joined up thinking. I think we're ready to vote. All in favour of the tunnel of Wagner/Donald/Joachim Love, say aye. 1, 2, 3.
Aye. I love that, mate.
It's a winner. Let's move on. Now, Mark, we've got to create a lot of rides for Footballland, and I don't doubt our creative pedigree for a second, but I've decided to enlist outside help. So I have on the line the former USA international centre-back Jimmy Conrad. He played 27 times for the USA, including the 2006 World Cup, and he memorably scored one international goal against Mexico in a friendly in 2007. Do you remember that goal?
Of course I do. Everyone remembers that goal. And frankly, if he's American, this is even better. I mean, theme parks are in the Americans' DNA. They grow up on a roller coaster, don't they?
Not only is he American, he's from California, and they have 2 theme parks per capita. I think we have him now. Jimmy Conrad, are you there? Jimmy Conrad?
Yes, I'm here.
And that's you, Jimmy Conrad?
It's me.
Right. Mark, this is Jimmy Conrad.
Great.
Okay. Now, Jimmy, you're from California.
That's correct.
I take you know a lot about theme parks then?
Oh, I know a lot. I grew up very close to Disneyland. Very famous theme park, yes.
So you feel confident that you can pitch a ride that's in keeping with something from Disneyland or Disney World or one of the many Disneys?
Yes, no question.
Okay, so that's what we're looking for. Now, beforehand, we'd just like you to verbally sign a waiver. You, Jimmy Conrad, are handing over full ownership of your ride idea to Anthony and Mark and its permanent place in Footballland, and you're swearing on a copy of Shoot magazine from 1999. Just to prove you've got your copy there, can you just tell me what footballer is on the front cover of that Shoot magazine from 1999?
It's none other than Jonathan Woodgate.
Okay, well, that's proof enough. Thank you very much. Please go ahead with your idea.
Okay. Are you guys both sitting down?
Do you want me to sit down? Because I've been standing next to a window.
No, sitting down would be better when I make this pitch because I think you're going to want to stand up. That's how great this ride is. It's the Conrad3000. I want you to imagine a robotic exoskeleton that customers can wear. Okay? And it's programmed to recreate the goal that I scored against Mexico in 2007. Dig it out of your net, Osvaldo Sanchez, okay? So again, continue to imagine a robot in the shape of Landon Donovan who's going to deliver the corner kick, okay? And then the customer will tussle with a robot Mexican defender before planting the ball in the back of the net. It will also be possible to program the robot to recreate other standout moments from my career, like when I had a nice clean tackle on Leo Messi in the Copa America, or when I got a red card playing against Manchester United and Dimitar Berbatov, who is a little questionable. Maybe we could throw a referee robot in there too so we could argue with them. Or when I changed jerseys with Andrea Pirlo at the World Cup. I mean, the options are endless.
Okay. So you're saying that we've got to design an exoskeleton that customers stand inside, and that recreates to the absolute millimetre your goal against Mexico in that friendly in 2007.
You'll know exactly how I felt, the elation, the moment of joy, everything that's wrapped into it, and even I don't even know what to do with my hand celebration. It's all there, the total package.
Is there any flexibility in their movement, or do they have to go exactly where you went for that goal?
I think in terms of what we're aiming for, they have to do exactly the same movement. It just wouldn't be the same otherwise. Like it was a back post header. If they went near post, it just wouldn't resonate in the same way. But I appreciate the question.
How many defenders were? It was a set piece. It was from a corner, wasn't it?
That's correct. I had one defender who I shook and got some space. But there are plenty of other guys. So yeah, there are a lot of roles that people can play. But
so you're asking us to develop one robot who's marking, a robot goalkeeper, a couple of defenders on the line, and a couple of your teammates.
The couple. It depends. It depends on how sophisticated you want to make. I kind of have it as a sliding scale, right? I mean, ultimately, it's just shaking the defender and scoring. So maybe just the defender and the goalkeeper. But again, the attention to detail is what I think is going to really enhance the experience. But I'm open to any interpretation based on the budgets that you guys might be considering.
Budget is no problem. We've got almost unlimited funds.
Well, there you go.
I'm wondering if we take artistic license and we embellish some of the moments in this goal. So the tussle you have with the defender, could that maybe go on for like 4 minutes and be like an epic, like stand-up wrestling game, or would that diminish the goal? Do you think?
for me, I think that would be amazing because the end result still ends in me scoring and celebrating. And yeah, that's great. No problem.
Would it be possible to change the celebration? It feels like the goal needs to be set in stone. If you remember your exact movements and all of those of the defenders and goalkeeper to make it entirely accurate, that's fine. I can imagine the ball is going to be following the same trajectory from Landon Donovan each time. I imagine it's going to have to be on a wire to do that. But the celebration, you looked, when you celebrated that goal, shocked, surprised?
I would say both, yes. So I guess in an effort to give the person who wants to experience this some freedom to be themselves, I think there would be room for them to celebrate in any way that they saw fit. But if they really wanted to live the moment, they would mimic what I did. You
say other moments in history. You mentioned you tackled Lionel Messi once.
I did. I don't think he ever forgot it. That's why we never played again against each other.
Are these moments, while they're obviously fantastic, are they world famous enough? Would we need to show your goal on a big screen in the line so that people can remember how it was scored?
I don't really like where you're going with these questions.
Right.
I'm wondering if we could have a different sort of ride in what I'm imagining is like the Jimmy Conrad area of the park. Would you be up for maybe the person doing the ride, they get in a giant Jimmy Conrad football boot and they slide down it like a log flume, but they slide down it towards a giant Lionel Messi, and that's what takes the ball at the bottom rather than land in a water pool. They take the giant ball away from a massive Lionel Messi. Would that be something you'd be into?
I would definitely be into that. I mean, just the thought that you're considering me for more than just a ride, but a part of the park. How am I going to say no to that?
Do you know what, Jimmy? I really like this idea, and I think it's got incredible legs. And what I'm suggesting here is, could we not harness it to recreate other great moments in football history? For example, Maradona's dribble in 86 against England, Zidane's volley in the Champions League final. Fans could pre-select their moment in history from a drop-down menu in the line and then get inside the robot and it would do all the rest.
This isn't the Zidane 3000.
No.
Okay,
no.
This is the Conrad 3000.
Right. I'm just saying that seeing the moment from a player's eyes is something the world's dreamed of. This could be a golden ticket here. This could be easily the most popular ride in the park if we expand it out to other, now, other people.
If this is the discourse you want to take with this conversation and you're going to try to steal my idea, then maybe we either squash it or if you go and try to run and do it, I might have to sue you. I might have to take you to court.
Right, I understood.
So, okay.
There's no way that the Conrad 3000 could be, for example, used for Bobby Moore when he tackled Pele.
It's the Conrad 3000.
I just feel that, I mean, you mentioned Lionel Messi. He's done some quite special things in his time that maybe we could recreate. It might have even had more camera angles than your red card against Man United.
Listen, he's a robot already, okay? I was a human. I dealt with some stuff, and I rose to the challenge and had some really magical moments in my career, and I feel like that's more relatable than to somebody who's not from this planet, okay?
You're respectfully pushing back on
yes
the expansion. Can we talk about this? Can we maybe come to some sort of licensing agreement whereby we use the Conrad goal against Mexico as one of the drop-down menu items, like limit it to 6? I mean, it'd still be a 1 in 6 chance that ride goers might use your goal, and then the others could be Maradona or Messi or Ronaldo.
If you want to hear from my lawyers, then yes.
Right.
I have just realised something. There's a thing called virtual reality, isn't there? We don't need to actually build this. We just get a pair of glasses and chuck it on people and they can do this. Is this too late to be mentioning this?
It's not quite got the same pizzazz factor. I mean, Jimmy is from California, Mark. He's not going to be impressed with some glasses. These guys, they drink pomegranate juice, Mark. They're not really... They've got virtual reality. They want exoskeletons.
Just save that for the Zidane headbutt.
Can I just ask, when you drink pomegranate juice, do you drink the pips as well? How do you get rid of the pips?
I don't want to talk about pomegranates or pomegranate juice. I just want to talk about the Conrad 3000. That's why I'm here.
Also, as someone that I'm going to actually be building this ride, and I've studied the goal. It's very similar to Igor Biscan's goal that he scored against Fulham in about 2004. So I think if there is a drop down, It's your goal in 2007 and Igor Biscan's in 2004, and no others. We can't replicate willy-nilly a whole range of goals. It's got to. Ideally, it would just be yours. But if Anthony's pushing for one other, would you be up for Igor Biscan's against Fulham? Hello.
Hello, Jimmy. Are you there, Jimmy?
He's gone. He's gone.
He's gone. Okay.
Well, that went well, I thought.
Yeah, I think he came round to the idea of sharing his ride eventually. Yes.
Will he be happy with the changes we've suggested?
He'll be fine with them. It's still 100% his ride, so he'll be happy with that. Right, let's vote. All in favour of the Conrad3000 say aye.
Aye.
Lovely. And that's meeting 1 of Footballland complete.
Great. It's easy building a theme park, isn't it?
It's not rocket science, is it? I mean, I don't know why people take so long over it. Right, meeting ended, and that is lunch.
Bye.
Why are you saying bye?
Oh, I thought...
Are we not getting lunch? I just said that's lunch.
Well, yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how to end these things.
Well, not like this.